Who would you want to fight next time?
Anyone who weighs 147 pounds or even 154. I'll fight any of them fighters. All right then, any fighter.
But you're saying you need a big fight. I mean, who's you're going to choose from a level? Who would be the candidate?
Who would be the guy that won 147? You know the main guys. You know the Garcias, Porter Thurman, Pacquiao Bradley. You know Jesse Vargas has just won a world title. I want to unify the division. There's no one. You know, can touch me at 147, I'll clean up. That's why I just need them fights, and I'll show everyone that I can do that.
Is there a logical? Kell said, you both said on Thursday that, and kind of midsummer fight is what you're looking at.
Yeah,
July fight. Is it Vargas? Are you looking at Vargas, or will you look at Garcia? Both have been quite prominent in your.
Because of how difficult it is, because of how good he is, I don't think we're going to get multiple choices. I think it's going to be one of all the names we mentioned. You know, I don't think it's going to be Vargas or Garcia or Bradley to choose from. I think any one of those we have to grab immediately, because what happens is everybody in boxing knows how good Kell Brook is. Carl Froch just comes to me in the corridor and went, Ed, you have to get in a big fight. He said he's unbelievable.
Well, Froch believes he can be number one pound for pound in the world.
But he can. But we've been hampered by bad luck, injury, little bit of ill discipline over the years, but that's not a problem anymore. Now we've cleaned the slate with our mandatories. We have 12 months where we won't have to fight Poxy mandatory again. You know, believe it or not, we want to fight big fights. That was a tough sell for me tonight, promoter, and I want to thank people at Sheffield, because there was over 7,000 people in there, and the atmosphere was unbelievable, and the fight was average in terms of the billing, but we had to do it. He wasn't going to give us up. People don't want to fight Kell Brook. They certainly won't fight if he hasn't got one of them. So we can't possibly give it up. I have always liked the Tim Bradley fight. You know, I think he beats Pacquiao on April 9th, to be honest with you. But Vargas for the WBO and IBF is a fight that I think can come in. If we have to go to America, we'll do it.
So it's smash and grab raid time on America.
He's done that before. He smashed and grabbed in Carson. We went over there, no one thought he'd beat Sean Porter. He turned up, we nicked the belt, we said thank you very much, and we went home again. But since then he's boxed Jojo Dan, Frankie Gavin and Kevin Bizier. And those aren't the names of the people, the levels that he can be beating. He's had bad luck, many wouldn't be standing here or sitting here today, I promise you that, for being through what he's been through. But he's so good, so good. He punches so hard. About 2 minutes into that first round, Bizier was coming forward like this. I said, the uppercut's there, Kell. He threw it about 3 seconds later. That was a shot, would have knocked most of them. And it's not just, forget Bizier, it's what he did to him. I don't believe Danny Garcia, Vargas, these kind of guys would have done that to Bizier. I know they would have beaten him, but they wouldn't have torn him to pieces like that. He didn't know where he was. I mean, he was in tatters. But there's no point in us sitting here saying he's the best welterweight in the world, he's the best pound for pound fighter in Britain. We've got to go and prove it.
But have you got to go there to do it?
Possibly.
Really?
We'll do it. Whatever's the right move, we'll sit down with Kell and Terry and Dom, and whatever is the right move, we will do.
Are you not bothered at all about going over there to defend your title or win the other ones then? Over to America?
Like Eddie said, I've been over to America. If we had to go over, we'd have to go over. I want them fights for your guys. I want them big fights. What brings the best out of them? In this sport, I want to challenge myself to, the best fights and see really how many gears I can go.
Gareth, it's a bit like putting your best work in, your best journalism for 50 quid a week. It's not going to motivate you, is it? And it's like with Kell, he has to do 12 week, well, a bit more. He has to do 12 week camps for these guys, and he's got to do it, because if he does a 6 week camp, he's going to come unstuck, or he's going to look rubbish. So he's having to put the work in. You understand, to get these guys out of the way quick. When you've got an opponent in front of you who's a big guy, a big opponent, a big name, the training is so much easier because you know what's coming at the end of the camp, and you've got a challenge. So you don't, you get up for the fight even more, and that's when you get the best out of Kell Brook.
I think that the old Kell Brook wouldn't have trained like he did in that camp for Kevin Bizier.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Because he didn't have to train like that, but he did, and that's discipline.
Eddie, how does the conversation go when you're trying to make these big fights?
Well, no one fancies fighting Kell Brook.
Was that the message you get back?
I know. Because we've had it all along. That's why we have to fight the busy A's to make sure we keep his belt. So luckily, we've got the back in the sky. We can box on pay-per-view. We can get the pot to bring him over. It's still difficult. Danny Garcia, I don't believe will travel. Bradley, I believe will travel. Vargas, I believe will travel. Thurman Porter, no, I don't believe they'll travel. I'd love him to fight Danny Garcia. You know, I'd smash Danny Garcia. But he won't. We'd have to do that in America. Fine. Listen, if Amir loses well to Canelo, I'm sure we'll make that fight at the end of the year. But really, we're talking October, November. We want July. We want a big one in July at Bramall Lane, if possible. We've had massive support from the club. They're right behind him. I'd love to do it there. But again, we're realistic to know if we have to travel, we will. But it's my job to put all the options in front of Kell and Terry and say, you've got to choose what you want to do. And you know, it has to be a big fight because we're all under pressure, especially me. You know, everyone wants it. It's my job to deliver it. I love it.
Have you had talks with Bradley's people?
Yeah, a lot. He nearly fought Bradley when he was IBF mandatory. Bradley offered him the fight with options and a tiny purse, but we were already IBF mandatory. Bradley will come. It's even like Brandon Rios. You know, like when we were talking about that fight, he just started pricing himself out of the fight. And he told me, the team said they knew they were going to take a tonking. They'd rather go and fight Bradley. I mean, like, they'd rather fight Bradley for less money than fight Kell Brook.
And Bradley's been here, of course, obviously won the WBC belt here against Junior 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
It's a great fight. But if he beats Pacquiao, it's a huge fight. But even if he loses a good fight to Pacquiao, it's still a huge fight. I'd love the Vargas fight as well. I'd love him to get another belt. You know, if he has to go to 154 pounds, that's something that I'd present to the team as well. HBO wanted us to fight Cotto. Cotto looked here with Freddie Roach and went, we're all right, thank you, for now. Maybe later in the year. Don't blame him. You know, I know we mentioned Golovkin's name, and you know, you get the weight right, you never know. That's the biggest money fight out there for him. He's got a style to beat him. But it's irrelevant us sitting here saying, he'll beat him. We've got to actually prove it. And the only way we prove it is to get the fight.